And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Episode number 12 of ChatGDG with a fantastic guest. We've got Francesco, who is a developer advocate at daily.dev. So amazing. He's from Rome, right? Or ish. So like me. So, lots of things in common. Without further ado, if you don't mind, Francesco, to introduce yourself, and then we will take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Stefano, for inviting me and pronouncing my name correctly, of course. I'm Francesco, developer advocate at daily.dev or daily.dev. It's pronounced because it's also a domain, but daily.dev usually it's faster. And I do many things. I'm also Docker captain. I'm very active on social media, especially Twitter, YouTube. What else? I'm also a public speaker. I've been enjoying doing many conferences. I've been traveling so much in the past 1 year and a half. I'm going to Los Angeles in less than a week.
Oh,
So
wow.
for the
Nice.
DockerCon. So yes,
Very
it
cool.
will be a dream to participate there. And yes, Stefano, I'm all yours. Just drop all the questions you want, and I'll try to give the best answer. Hi,
Can
everyone.
we say that you said it's like 1.5 year, like about this 18-month kind of period. Can we say that your life was a little bit different 2 years back compared to now, right?
I don't know if you can swear, but let's say heck yes. So absolutely. So public speaking, in-person events, they changed my life again, we can say, because they give a total different vibe. And also, in my past, I was not in tech. I was working in sports, so let's say I was born as a volleyball coach. So I became a volleyball coach at 15, and I did this until I was 31, 32. So almost 20 years. So
Wow.
so that's why, like, in-person events, like I'm more used probably to in-person events rather than webcam and live streams, because this was very scary to me. But like I did like in-person events with thousands of people even before stepping in tech. Of course, it's different being a speaker, doing a volleyball match. But let's say that I'm going back to my origins of like going in person, meeting people in person, doing a lot of noise. That's it. So this is more similar to my life in the past. It's also like, I don't know, there is not like sports relations, but like when you are like a coach, of course, you meet a lot of people, thousands of people, you know everyone, you have friends, enemies, people like you, don't like you. So we can say my life has been an evolution. Let's say it's in this I'm more into tech, but I always thought there is a huge mosquito. Let's say that always that in tech, I didn't want to step in tech because I always saw tech as something boring as hell, like coding as boring as hell.
Okay.
So it was too
that was
boring.
the assumption that you had. That was like what tech looked like.
Yeah, because as I said, I've always worked in a gym. Standing for me, sitting more than 30, even now, like sitting more than 1 hour, it's hard, it's challenging. But at the beginning, it was like, maybe can I do this live or not? Because I've not been always like just active on social media, but I've been also I worked for the European Space Agency in Frascati for around three years. So as you see, we're discovering some parts of my life. So, but I let you drop more questions.
No, that's very interesting. So what you said is really true. Of course, sport is way different from what you do now. But, there were a couple of really interesting points, like you being more used to being in public, right? Because I think you were playing matches, you were coaching people. So that aspect, of course, you would be coaching people on a slightly different topics. But the underlying thing was there. And also I think 20 years of sports, that for sure, this is an assumption of my part, but I would imagine that would have get you this level of also resilience, a little bit of discipline kind of thing, because if you want to do sports, there are a couple of rules, you know what I mean? You can't do whatever you want. So I think all these things really help you, right, in your, let's say, phase 2 of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to also share something, because as I said, I was not active on social media. So when I switched my career to tech, I thought I was one of the few ones, like switching career at 30 in tech. I said, okay, this is something strange. Maybe people don't do this. when I started making these sort of interviews, I discovered that 95% of the people, they are career switchers. I had like an opera singer, makeup artist, chemistry student. So many people, and this is what I really love about the tech, that you can really switch to career even if you're 40. I'm 40 now, but also if you are 45, if you have a family, you can still you still have a chance. You probably don't have a chance anymore to become a professional football player or doctor. It's too late in the next life. In tech, there is I don't know. I think this is fascinating. Like the fact that even if you are 50, you can decide, okay, now I want to learn some JavaScript. Probably you can even get paid in a couple of years if you put some effort. It's not. I'm not here to sell like buy my book to become. I'm saying this. It's a real and true belief, but it's not just me. Like many people, I think they agree. Of course, like many things, you still have to put your effort. Nothing comes for free. But let's say I'm an example of careers. And by the way, I always loved the computers. I had a Commodore 64. Now let's not go back. Otherwise this will last 20 hours. But let's say I always loved computers, building my own PC. I still build my own PC, by the way, playing video games, Diablo and all the other games and all the other stuff. I've also a computer science degree because I always had the idea that like studying can bring you something. By the way, both of my parents are teachers. So as I said, I have some teaching DNA, and I had some super annoying, let's say, lunches at home when I was always talking about school 24/7. And so probably this is something that it's related also to the fact of what I'm doing now, because when I became a developer, I stopped being a teacher. I stopped being a volleyball coach. I was also teaching someone like math and physics sometimes. So when I switched into tech and I found my first role as a full stack developer for the European Space Agency, I sit on the chair and I said, okay, so basically now I'm not a teacher anymore. Like I can do this job without teaching. But slowly, with all the social media stuff, when I started creating my first piece of content, I think it was February 2020, which is not so long. I'm not like a 10, 20 years old content creator. No, I did other stuff in my life. But when I started to create content, I found that this was really, let's say, I had this, the satisfaction of a teacher. Like if you are passionate about teaching, understand what I mean. So here we are, and this is where I let's say double down on all the content creation stuff. Many good things has happened in my life. I quit my job with my disappointing my parents, because in Italy we have this idea that you'll never quit your full-time job. So if you quit your full-time job in Italy, you are crazy, basically. So automatically, if you are Italian from Italy, you can understand. I think you can understand.
That's quite true, actually. Yes.
Pretty well. There are also movies about this, not quitting your full-time job, like Checco Zalone.
Yep.
So apart from this, and also, as I said, I don't come from an entrepreneur family. So my family is all about studying, finding a full-time job. So when I decided to quit, I still remember it was March 2021. Only my girlfriend supported me, and this is super important, I think. But now, of course, my life is different, and I'm a developer advocate at daily.dev. We can have a whole session about what is a DevRel, a developer advocate. I was serious about this.
That was about my next question, actually.
For now, I think that we are 3 developer advocates in Italy, or 2. So probably there are more, but I don't know. But probably we should be connected a bit more. But yeah, really enjoying this conversation, by the way, Stefano.
Yeah. Likewise, it's very interesting. I'm getting to know quite a few angles that I didn't, and I find it very interesting. Also, I would like to confirm 1000% what you said about career switching. I have in my teams, I line manage like quite a few people at the times, which are spread across different teams. I can guarantee you that I've got 5, 6, 7 of these people who've been doing something for the first part of their lives, and then they career switch into tech. Someone was a nurse, someone else was an accountant, someone else was doing something completely different. So that is doable. And all these guys are 20, 22. No, these people are 35, 40, 42, and so on. So it is doable. It is not easy. You need to put the work, you need to put the effort, but it's doable. That is what we should really try to convey this message. If for some reason you are not fully satisfied by your career, maybe think about tech. That is still doable. Maybe in 10 years from now, maybe we'll reach a point of saturation. I'm not really sure, but right here, right now, is still absolutely doable, even over 30, over 40, over 50. No problem. That's, I think, is very important to get out. There. And then very interesting, like everything in life at some point, you would fulfill the circle, if that makes sense. So, this teaching thing that was like a theme in your life. So your parents doing that, you enjoying doing that, even if you change field, you are now like a teacher-ish, because I know that you've been doing so many tutorials, you created so much content. And actually, before asking you what exactly a DevRel does, because that is maybe can be a question that many viewers have, right before that, another question, like, I'm so curious. So I saw you creating content for Rust, JavaScript, Docker, container. That's insane. So how many languages do you know? How many things? You are involved in so much, which is great, but also wow.
Yes. So, by the way, we are talking about you have a series on YouTube when you basically create CRUD REST API connected with a DB, and this is all containerized. So we have a Postgres database containerized, and then we have an application. What makes this series special, and I think I'll talk about this also at DockerCon, is that I use 10 different languages, or 8, we can say 10 different technologies. I have, for example, Python, Flask, and Django. So there are Django, I think it's pronounced, okay? So the reason is that I touched and used most of those languages, of course. I code also some of them even live. So some of these videos are like me doing this live. Of course, I prepared this before. And some of them I recorded. I prefer recorded it. But let's say the idea is to have as simple as possible CRUD application, and then focus more on the containerization part, show something about the containers, the networks, and all that stuff. So I'm not focused on this. I still get those comments like, okay, but this application is not production ready. I go to one of LinkedIn as soon as I say, yes, of course, otherwise you should pay me like 6 figures. Okay. But anyway, the idea is to show that it's not about the single technology, but it's all about the idea. If I try to do, I don't know, I do the application, for example, in C#, and then, for example, I use the C# only on the front-endish part, on the Unity part. I never use the .NET on a backend. But once you have the concept of what an API is, it doesn't really matter what language you use, because you can still teach something even to someone, maybe they're more familiar than you to C#, but maybe they're missing the containerization part. They're missing how to connect this to a DB, how you can configure this. So you can still teach something to someone who is not who is more experienced than you on the specific language. So that's the core idea.
Interesting.
And yes, so, and this was, to be honest, a project I had, like, even when I started programming, say, professionally and for real, because I said, okay, but I would like to have something which is more agnostic, or maybe something that works like no matter what's the language. My first API, by the way, was in Java, in Spring Boot, and from there, basically everything is easier. No, I'm joking. For Java developers, I'm just joking. No, it's okay. But yeah. So, and of course, I use ChatGPT for the preparation. I use the AI, but the way you never got it right on the first try. But still, you get something, you elaborate it, you optimize it. I always also create an article to support the video. That's absolutely recommended. You get more views from the article rather than Twitter and YouTube, because people
interesting. So you create the video as well as the article is a lot of work.
This is a whole process, but the idea is that it took me a while to understand this, but I create the article to make the video. So that's the idea. So I create the article without the images, with all the steps. And then when I record the video, I read the draft of my article. So this is the this maybe we require a whole different interview but it's a process that it has been kind of optimized. So and then I copy paste the pictures of the video in the article and redirect the pictures to the video. That's it. They're really linked each other. They're linked each other. It's a process that it has been optimized like in a while, and the structure is similar because we have an architecture, the connection to DB, the API, the Dockerization, Docker Compose, try one. So the process is similar. I want to do with more technologies, but yes. So that's something that I really enjoy doing it. And let's see, the core idea is to show that you can have the same result. Just the technology is just using a language. I can say similar things in different languages. So maybe the flavor is not exactly the same, but the concept it's very, very similar. And but yes, so yes, that's the core idea of like why I would like to create this sort of tutorials or ideas, and I really enjoying doing that. Like when it works, also is a pleasure, and it's something that I like to do. So it's I'm focused on this part of this connection to the database, which is sometimes, I'd say, especially for beginners, it's not that easy. Like you say, okay, it's easy to connect to DB, okay, but if you use a technology and you want to connect that technology to a database, I don't know, it's never like you can never get it right on the first try, because sometimes they use a string, some applications they use application.properties file, some applications they have default values, some applications they don't have. So that's it. For example, Java, if you try to create this application in Spring Boot with dependencies and try to just run the application, it crashes, because if you create a dependency in Java, they want the connection to the DB. Otherwise, the application crashes. So this made me bang my head for like 2 weeks, like past like 10 years ago. So because Java says like, okay, if you want an application, so if you use this dependency, you know what you're doing, but maybe you are not, and you are still learning. So the hello world does work. If you add the dependency but you don't do anything, it doesn't work. For other applications, it's not like this. But anyway, this is we're going a bit more technical. Let's go the podcast-ish thing.
Podcast-ish way of things. So what you've done is really clever. So given that you need a script, anyway, for your videos, what you've done, you leverage that. The script has become an article, right? This is what I got from what you told me. So
yes.
That is the optimization part. So you need to write down something, anyway, right? Because you just can't record a video of you.
Unless you are maybe if you created the framework, maybe you don't need it. But
exactly,
if
you know what I mean?
But if exactly. So, by the way, this is. And the fact that I did this with different technologies, so I did this like at least 10 times, but it has been like 11 because I made some videos. I may cover just this a couple of times. So yes, the process of creation, it has been this. So as you said, you need a script anyway. You need a list of steps, like a to-do list.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this, you do this in an MD file and you put this somewhere. And then at some point, this becomes the article that redirects to the video. And this is super powerful, because, for example, if you can use your blog and you can use dev.to. I'm also, to be honest, very lucky. And this is, let me wear my developer advocate hat, because daily dev, it's basically, it does many things, but it is like a sort of, it started as a blog aggregator. So basically it redirects traffic to your article. Okay. So the idea is that if you share something on the dev, I don't have any privilege, by the way, for using the dev. It's like a normal user, but you get some redirecting people on your articles. So, and this leads to more views to my videos and other stuff. So I'm a huge fan of daily dev, not just because I'm a developer advocate, but it's also useful for me as a content creator. And that's it. So as I said, it has been a long roller coaster of things, and I'll share about this, as I said, DockerCon soon. It's in 1 week. In 1 week, I'll be there doing this. We do a sort of like, it's called a hallway track, which is a sort of like presentation without slides. It's like we sit and discuss about like
that's creating.
Pretty cool. I never did this, so I'm looking forward for this, because maybe this can Can be something different than the usual public speaking stuff. And yes, as I said,
it is perhaps a more interactive session, maybe.
It is, of course. So everyone can share their idea, and I have my laptop. We have one screen, and I don't know. I still don't know the format exactly, so I'm going there because I want to know. But as I said, for public speaking, this would be so much to speak. This year, I attended a talk in stage in Berlin that has 3,700 seats.
Was a lead dev?
We are developers. We are
developers. Okay.
So just to give you an idea, like the Ariston Theater has 2,000 seats. It's like we are used to see like Sanremo in Italy. So, and from that point, I'm completely shameless. Like before, I was even shameless, but now like we could have like 1 million people watching this live stream. I will be exactly like this. So the only bad fact is that there will be 1 million people that have to listen to my bad jokes. So that will be the only difference.
The only downside, right?
In terms, that will be. And by the way, I think that about like being anxious for public speaking and stuff. I think at some point, for example, on that stage, I was just blind because when I went on stage, I got just a light on my eyes. So I literally saw nobody because I stayed like 30 minutes in the backstage, absolutely dark. Then you go on the stage. There are some pictures of me like, I don't know, I'm like just enlightened like a demigod, joking, but it's but this made me like absolutely blind. So blindness can help in anxiety. Of course, I'm joking, and but yes, so. Stefano, there are so many things.
It was for you like being in your room and rehearse the thing pretty much, because not seeing all those people.
Exactly.
Right?
So there is a trick like that probably works just for me, but like usually you see that there are some anxiety of public speaking. And since I come from, let's say I did like, I think hundreds of videos and live streams even before my first presentation. So I started being very active on social media and videos way before doing public speaking. One trick that works just for me is that if I got anxious because this is a unnatural, let's say, environment.
Yep.
If they are recording the video, I just watch the camera. So for me, watching the camera,
so you focus on a point.
So I say, okay, so I'm just pretending that I'm just in a big room recording a video, and I go like in this mode. Like this is a mode that now I'm very familiar to. So I don't know if this will help someone because usually people they have a different process.
Yeah.
But everything that can help you, it's great. And I think that talking about public speaking, I think the best solution is to understand that it's not about you, it's not about your ego and to look cool, that you are knowledgeable and cool in front of thousands of people. It's about sending a message to people and trying to say something meaningful that it's useful for people who came there to attend the conference, because people have to be spending tickets, flight tickets, bus, trains, and they are also using their time just for you. So if you understand this, you become a bit less important on the stage, and you are just giving your talk, like sharing your message if you want. And I've noticed that when you say something which is obvious for you, it's never obvious for someone. This happened so many times. I say like, this talk is too dumb, but it's dumb. It's obvious. This is obvious. Then I try to ask, like, how many of you like know this feature? 3 people out of like 100. Okay, so I'm saying something useful because we have this perception. Maybe I don't know, because I'm very active on social media. I stay up to date every day. But maybe some people they are not. They have just been working like I did. Like I don't know. Maybe I've been just working at my office. I just want to enjoy, and then I'm going to a conference, and I go to conference maybe to understand something new. So this is also something about conferences that really made me like to say like, oh wow, so this is me like so that's it. Hey Eddie, how are you?
Yeah, there is. I don't know if you know that guy there. You know Eddie.
we know him.
Eddie is the number one. You know Eddie. I think he easily has been the inspiration for so many people, because he started I don't know how many years back. So Eddie, amazing. Simply amazing. Which, by the way, Eddie, you should come on the show soon, right? 2 great people kicking out. Yeah, I'm waiting for you at this soon. Um, Curiosity: how much becoming a Docker captain helped you in this kind of transition? Because I think that played an interesting
so
role.
this question is not scripted. So now I'll give my answer, and you'll decide the things. So the day after I became a Docker captain, I received an offer as a role as a developer advocate.
The day after.
Yeah.
The day after.
Yeah. So
What?
and that company was also related to Docker and containerization in AWS. Now, is this a coincidence? Is it not? Probably not, because
Probably not, but
I was already doing a collaboration with that company, and they say this. You said, you know what? Like, would you like to do this like on more or like monthly basis and do some stuff? And yeah, and I just the fun part is that I quit my job like 2 months back because I wanted just to focus on content creation. But then I decided, okay, so let's try this DevRel. So I didn't quit my job to become a DevRel. No. So I quit my job because I want to focus on doing the right things on social media, the right things on the content creation part. And we can see that it worked. I never thought that it would have worked so well. But let's say that I was expecting like, okay, I can stay like 2 years without working. That was my pessimistic vision. Instead, after 2 months, I was like earning more money than 2 months back. But I was like absolutely free, and yes. So Stefano, I don't know. This is you can see the conclusions, but we can say that maybe they are related.
Yeah. And then Eddie said that Francesco is super famous.
Yeah.
Right?
My mom and my grandma, they are my biggest fan.
No, what you're doing is pretty cool, because we talk about all these DevRel and whatnot and the tutorials, but you are building a community. So you're building a global community, which is slightly different. And you've been gathered together quite a few people. I just saw your numbers on LinkedIn, 24,000. On Twitter, cool. I don't even want to know. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Like what's the
yes? So I don't know. I regret a bit, like, because I don't want people to think that I just like vanity metrics for my ego. So I don't say okay, maybe I just people can feel this like as it's like I don't know, me feeding my ego that I have a lot of followers. No. So the reason why I decided this, by the way, this ambitious goal is to build a 1 million community, let's say, and of course cool. So I'm just saying basically like. So like summing up like the followers on Twitter, YouTube, and I don't know, maybe some people from Math say, hey, but some people could follow you on both. Okay, so it's not about like intersections of things. It's a number. The idea is that I consider like I'll tell you why I put this ambitious goal, because it happened like 2-3 times that like I said, okay, let's put like a very ambitious goal, and after 2 months I reached that. Like for example, this happened like when I wanted to become a Docker captain. It was April 2021. I said, okay, so let's put a 5 years goal of becoming a Docker captain. Let's create the content about Docker. Let's make a video. After 2 months, I became a Docker captain. I said, okay, cool. Now I need something else. So I said, okay, let's put something which is like really scares me out. Public speaker. Like this will require like, I don't know, 5 years, 3 years. After 3 months, I got invited for a conference. I say, okay, so I need something that like it's like a North Star of like, okay, so I want to go in this direction. So I said, okay, so like you want to play like hard games. So okay, so let's put like 1 million. And I had like less than 100,000, let's say, followers globally, let's say, when I started this idea. So less than 10% of this sort of challenge. And the idea is to say, okay, so if I ever reach 1 million somewhere, it means that I can say, okay, now I have a social media presence for real. Like it's not just, I don't know, just on Twitter or just YouTube. It's a mix of say, okay, now I have a social media presence. So that's probably I will not do other milestones like this, but I like the fact that say, okay, I want to go in the direction on helping as many people as possible. Grow, of course. The social media account, they don't grow themselves, by the way. I don't have any team me working on this, sadly. And so, yes, this is the idea. So the idea is to work consistently for 5 years, a decade, whatever it will take. I'm around 25% now, and I'll still keep working on this for, I don't know, 5. I usually don't. I don't like to put like, I don't know, 100,000 by the end of the year, because sometimes, I don't know, maybe you make the right video and you get like 1,000. So I don't want to put, I've never been like, say, that lucky on social media. It's all so hard work. I made more than 100,000 tweets. I think it's 110,000 tweets. So this means something. I did something, especially on Twitter, and of course on YouTube I did hundreds. And so let's say I'm a fan of numbers and doing stuff, but yes, so that's it. Really
no, absolutely. It is definitely not about vanity, but it's also about like appreciating some of this stuff. Like my following is minuscule, but even if I've got like 12,000 people, no, 12, sorry, 1,200 people, is still more than 1,000. So 1,000 people, if you start thinking about that, if you get out your home, you'll probably bump into 50 people. You know what I mean? So it's still a number when we talk about the 10,000, 20,000, 1 million. So people, I think that sometimes they don't realize, those are human beings. It's not just a number. It's human beings. So the impact that you're having, I think, is very important.
Yeah, thank you. And but yes, and this is why I am so fan of in-person events, when it's people are not just numbers, but we can interact each other. We can because, to be honest, sometimes my social media, especially my DMs on Twitter, they are a mess. My notifications are a mess. People don't understand this. Like if maybe if you reach some point, because I remember me when I had like 500, when I had 500 followers on Twitter, I said, okay, this is definitely too many notifications. Let me mute and silence the notifications and never put them back, because it's already a lot. You already get many. Now, I don't know. So it's just, I don't know. I just let them go and just try to focus on what really matters to me, because otherwise there will be so much noise. Some people who just want help. I don't know, just, Francesco, can you retweet this? People never met in my life, never did anything. Like, for example, you, Stefano, invited me, but we met in person. You came with an idea. So some people say like, okay, can I come to your YouTube channel? Like,
just
like
for
this,
the sake of
out
it.
of the blue. Or so this is very important. So, for example, this, like, we are doing this because we met in person. Of course, we are both Italians, so this helps for sure. And but yes, so but it's very, very important to give the right priorities. The priority for me is to meet as many people as possible. I think I'm following this mantra. I'm not just preaching it, so I'm going to.
You're doing this right, I think.
Yeah, I'll also be in Miami on the 26th of October. So I'll be back on the 7th of October.
Oh, wow.
And the 26th, I'll go back to Miami. At some point in the US, they will think that I am like a drug dealer, just doing
easily
traffic.
Yeah.
So at some point, I say, hey, let's check, because I went to the US. Like, I'll be to the US 4 times this year. I went to I went to Denver, Atlanta, and now Los Angeles, and then Miami. So in the same year. So I don't know.
That's intense.
But
cool.
Let's say my idea is that I will not travel like this like all my life. I like to consider like training, like training periods. Like, okay, so for 2 years I do this, because this, I think, I want to think that this will have a bigger impact rather than just tweeting, staying at home and tweeting. Probably it will be an easier solution, a lazier solution. But I say, okay, so until I have the energy, I can do this. I want to travel the world. I want to meet as many people as possible in person. And then there'll always be time to be a bit more active on Twitter, a bit more. But that's, for me, it's like, it's a side dish. Like Twitter, it's good to have, but it's not my priority. And of course, the numbers, they say the opposite, but it's just that, I don't know, some people decided to follow me, and I'm glad, you can say. But my idea is to be focused on especially content creation, but even more like in-person events. And of course, it's mostly because of the food. So of course, we can talk honestly.
Yeah, but also the in-person events give you so much energy, which is insane. So before you, as you mentioned, we met last year, but before like telling where and when, because there was an interesting conference, there is a very good question. I think this question was relating to what you said about setting goals and whatnot. How do you, from Rush, thank you, Rush, how do you handle setbacks while you are on these quests, like the quest of you getting such, followers and whatnot?
What do you mean by setbacks?
Maybe I think that if you set a goal and maybe you are going towards that, something, I don't know, bad happen, or that kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah. So first of all, when there is something very big, I don't put a temporary goal, because this just will make you feel disappointed if you don't reach it, or maybe you just reach it in a few days and you don't even know. So usually, for example, this 1 million, I don't put it. Sometimes I like to do I'm a huge fan of 100 days challenges. I did 100 interviews in 100 days, like on YouTube. But this is how I started, you can say. And if you do a podcast, doing 100 interviews in 100 days while having a full-time role,
it's
which
insane.
is not a DevRel like funny Twitter things. It was like you have to stay on the laptop from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. With this ISA laptop with camera on, so, and mouse tracking, so you can't do stuff and all the stuff. So I get sort of dark circles in those 3 months, but I did it, and this helped. But this helped me to do so. This is sort of the story of this my YouTube channel, like this interview series. This is how I started. For real, Eddie Jode was one of those 100 people, by the way. This is how we met. But yes, so as I said, how to handle. So this is a very important question. So if you have been following this live stream for a while, I said that I come from the sports world. So now I look like a super sportsy person, but just because I don't know, I go for a walk, I go for a run almost every day. And in tech, I don't know, if you run 5 kilometers a day in tech, you are a superhero. Like, it's not. Among sporty people, it's normal.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
But as I said, for me, it's all about priorities. So mental health priority, physical health priority, and then everything else. Because if you don't put yourself in the best condition, you're gonna fail and be miserable. So it's super important. Even if I learned this with the time, if you put yourself in the best condition, everything is easier. If you slept enough hours, if you have been exercising in the past week, I never met a single person who said, "Oh my God, I've been exercising so much last month. I regret it so much." Always the opposite. It's always the opposite. Like, no, I've been slept so well in the last month. Should have slept less and worked more. No, nobody said this.
Yeah.
Never. So if you focus on your good habits, at the beginning, it can seem even that you are wasting time. I don't know. For example, today, I went for a 1 hour walk, and I'm literally overwhelmed with stuff to do. But I know that over time, over the week, over 2 weeks, over 1 month, this makes a difference in the productivity. This, and also another thing is that I think it's the most important part is to know yourself. So I'm well known for posting pictures of say at 4 a.m. I'm still woke up. I'm already productive. I have this sort of superpower at 4 a.m. I'm already productive. But it's the opposite. Usually I'm always productive in the morning and not very productive now. So for example, this is kind of late for me. It should always be to go to bed. I go to bed. It's 9 p.m. now.
Oh wow. Okay.
But the idea. So I've never been an early morning person. Also, it was impossible because I was working in a gym until 11:30 p.m. So it was impossible to be an early bird in the past. But I said, okay, so I'm very productive in the morning and less productive in the evening. So I changed my habit to make it to be more productive, to be awake when I'm productive the most. So this is the idea. So this is how I set these things. And all these quests, challenges, goals, ambitions, at the end of the day, they're just mental tricks. We are trying to trick our brain because our brain is super smart and the brain doesn't want to move from the couch, doesn't want to move from the bed. This is why it's so hard to wake up, let's say, usually. So our brain doesn't want to do stuff. It's smart. It's also, of course, it's a brain. So the idea is to trick it to do as many things as possible, because we know that at the end of the decades, this will have an impact of our life. But usually it's very simple. Don't overcomplicate stuff. You don't need 10 productivity apps. Be as simple as possible. Do the stuff. And yes, so, but I many people told me that I apply many things that are in the Atomic Habits book, but the fun fact is that I never read it. So I'm applying what is in the book, but I never read
But
the
because
book.
it makes sense to you, right? So
yeah, probably, I don't know. Maybe that person wrote the book and I just applying this without writing the book. So it's that's it. It's but probably I'm doing something right, because if you say, Francesco, you're applying that on something. I say, no, I never read that book, but at some point I'll fix this issue. But super recommended book. I think I can't recommend because I never read it, but recommended to me by others. I mean,
yeah,
they've
exactly.
been recommended this a lot. That mean that's it. Stefano.
Yeah, nice one. That was very, very interesting. Especially, sure, you should prioritize your mental health and your physical health, because otherwise there is no point. There's zero. Just don't do this. Do something different, because if you need to burn out yourself, it's really not worth it. So yeah, just priorities. Those are important. So where did we meet? Do you remember?
I remember.
Front
It was in London at the Infamous conference. I call it like this. So usually I call it like the Infamous conference. So, and that's this could be like a separate session. So Stefano, usually, like, I saw some people like posting something about the conference. Usually, I usually stay out of like discussions as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, so it's it. But this is very important also to understand which are maybe the red flags for a conference. But no, this is a long story. I never talked about this publicity, by the way. So if we want, we can even discuss. But let's say I think that it's very important for conferences to be focused on the attendees. This is why I say like the attendees are the superstars of the stage, not the speakers, not the organizers, but not the keynote speaker. The people who are going there, they are the people who should be put on the social media, put on the stuff, because they are the reason why this thing exists, and the conference should put them on the top of the priorities, and not at the bottom. Because to be honest, Stefano, as a speaker, I was not treated so bad. So, but the thing is that all the attendees have been treated not very well. So that's the thing. So this is what should happen when there are conferences. So attendees, and then everybody else, because people are going there, paying, using money, probably taking energies from what could be maybe taking days off. I don't know. Not know many people they are backed by their companies. If you are lucky. But yes, and also and to be honest, usually those conferences are not that cheap. You can say so. It's there are some discounts, but it's still like you'll pay. And I can say because, for example, in Render ETL, I attended this event. And by the way, I'm coming as a speaker next year, so I won.
Nice.
I went there, but the ticket I paid more than $600, and I did like a super early bird. I bought this like 10 months before, so it's I bought this last September for June 2023. In September 2022, I bought the book. I bought the ticket. So as I said, we should really focus on the attendees and try to give them the best, let's say, experience as possible. And probably this conference didn't care at all about
I for sure I don't want to go into the rant about what happened there. It's been a year ago. We are way past that. The long story short was not it was actually it was almost a year, because it was October,
it was October,
something like that. October. So pretty much a full year. So without going into details, of course, that was not particularly executed well under so many point of views. But the good thing that is not gonna happen again, because of course those people are probably not.
At least we met, Stefan. I want to always see the bright side of life.
Exactly.
Because otherwise my life will be miserable. So let's look at the bright side. I met one of the
a bunch of people, actually.
One of the reasons why I really wanted to go there is that I tried to meet Eddie like 2-3 times before that conference, and for some reason there was also always something going wrong, or some train crashing, some problem.
Wow. Okay.
And so this is the conference when I finally met Eddie Jaude. So it's I will remember this conference forever.
Nice one. No, but there were like jokes aside. There were a bunch of very interesting people. Like I love to see like people coming from abroad. There was all the RxJS team, like Ben Lesh and Jay Phelps and all these guys.
Huge fan
Huge
of Ben
fan.
Lesh, Ken
Ben
Dodds,
Lesh is
James Quick,
incredible people.
Code
Incredible.
Stakar, Jesse, many people.
Incredible people.
Also
We are
people who
going.
I never met like before, like there was a Niall from Ireland. Very good people. Like it's so it has been. Let's say so. It's as I said. So in-person events they are so important because to be honest, I tried like once we did it. Like okay, so let's just meet together. I don't know. It was like in Manchester last year. We took a plane. I did like without even booking the hotel. I took like a plane and plane back like the day after. I don't know. And don't do this if you are over 30, by the way. And
yeah,
and
can be challenging.
No, never do this. But if you just meet, okay, you can go take a beer, but what else? Instead, I think the best solution is to meet at a conference when there is some noise, some swag, some food, the speaker. It's better. It's the best solution to meet. And I tried to organize like, I don't know, tech, Twitter, Europe conference, but it's usually very hard. If you try to make people meet more than 5 people, it's super hard. So instead, the best solution is to just meet at a conference. You say, you're going there too. Okay, nice. And then you can go out and you can take a pizza, whatever. That's it. So I still believe in conferences. I mean, as I said, no one bad conference. This doesn't remove all the good stuff that has been done.
No, absolutely.
On the personal stuff. And
absolutely,
I have so huge respect for people organizing conferences because I can't barely organize a dinner with 3 friends here in Rome. Organizing a conference with 10,000 people, I don't know. It's mind-blowing.
Different level of scale.
No, it's something else.
Speaking of conference, very important question for me. So, okay, because I'm actually, in the process of doing that. I would like to attend more conferences. I would like to start sending over CFPs and whatnot. Okay, the main issue that I'm having in this very moment, that I have no idea what conferences, what is going to happen in a month, in 2 months, where. Is there an aggregator somewhere? Is there like a list?
Yeah, I got you covered, Stefano, so I'm prepared to this. So there are many things. So the first thing that comes in my mind, and this is not sponsored, by the way, it's something called the Sessionides. Do you know it?
Yeah.
So Sessionides is basically a platform for speakers. So there are so many speakers that there is actually a platform, and when you can see the conferences. Now,
okay.
So this is already great. So if you go there. And then I think that there are GitHub repositories where they aggregate like conferences. So I would look for, there are not, I don't think, like an aggregator of aggregators, but I think there are a couple of good aggregator for conferences. I think they are like GitHub repositories. Now I can't remember the exact name, but I saw it. I should have bookmarked somewhere. If I find it, I'll send the link.
Okay.
And, but yes, so I will say that if you want to become a public speaker, of course, understanding which are the conferences is great, but I think that also working on the networking part, connecting with other speakers is the best. I don't know. If you want to learn how to play guitar, the best idea is to connect with people who plays the guitar, because this will lead you like you are really going in the right direction, because everybody is going there and say, hey, there is this conference. Or they say, Stefan, I'm sorry, I can't come to the podcast because there is a conference next month. You say, there is a conference next month. So now let's apply.
Okay.
So connect. To be honest, Stefan, I did the same. Like when I started the YouTube channel. So I was so scared in March 2020. Said, how can I start a YouTube channel? Okay, I surround myself with people who has a YouTube channel. And not like the big YouTubers. Even people with 100 subscribers, because sometimes they're even more active. So I said, that's a trick. You surround yourself with like you are doing, like you surround yourself with public speakers and people doing conferences, people organizing conferences. Also, usually are super kind people, very friendly, very patient. Also with these speakers. So I try to have a lot of stuff, and they annoy you. So that would be the best solution. I can give you the contact of some people who I know that they are event organizers. I think so. At least because they will post about this. So probably there are some people who are super good. at organizing conferences, and then you will see. And good CFP focused on the conference, so not, it's like the CV. You don't send the same CV to all the
different companies.
different
Just
companies.
You want to tweak that a little bit.
And if you're doing it and you still don't have a job, this is probably one of the reasons, maybe not the main reasons, but this might be. So always be something which is focused. So understanding if it's a generic conference, if they are focused on AI, check the previous speakers and something like that. And as I say, I don't know if have you ever did a presentation so far or not?
Yeah, but not like officially, like as a speaker. I mean, I run meetups in London, but not exactly.
So I'll tell you this. I don't know if it's motivation or not, but like public speaking is very similar to be a developer. So the first one is always the hardest one, and when a conference, it was We Are Developers in 2022. They contacted me in February. Once they put my face on their website, I got contacted by other 4 conferences. So that's the trick. Conferences, they copy each other, like checking the other websites, and then they contacted the person. Because they say, okay, so if you can make your face to go on a website of a conference, you are done. Because people will start contacting
once.
People will start. It's like people will start contacting you because they say, okay, so this person has been a speaker there. They'll try to invite you. So at least this is what I think. Because again, it's like the Docker Captain. It's a strange coincidence, but the day after, they put this on the website, after the same week, I got 3 invites. I never had an invitation as a speaker. The week after, We Are Developers put my face in 2022. I got invited by 3 other conferences. So this is something, Stefano, or I'm very lucky. So
no, that is called the snowball effect, right? So you start something, and then it's pretty much, that small thing becomes an avalanche. So we talk about a not great conference when we met, but what about a great conference? So what was in the past year, in the past 18 months, the best conference that you ever been?
Okay, now
I know it's difficult.
Okay,
it's difficult.
Yes. So you're asking all the hard the questions. So I'm like the gram, and you're asking me which is my favorite grandson, basically. Yeah. So it's hard to decide a conference. Probably I have to let me make at least 2 categories. 2 categories. Okay. So one as a conference itself, of course, the We Are Developers conference that I did in July, as I said. Probably the biggest stage tech stage in the world. I asked this because I was not sure about this, and some people say, "Hey, but there is that conference." Okay, but I asked like this to Misko. He was like the creator of Angular. Like it's he does this public speaking. He does like I think almost 100 conferences a year. I don't know. It's mind blowing. He does this as a job. Let's say so. His job is like to travel at conferences and speak. So I do this like taking my days off. So it's different. And I asked him, like, which is the biggest stage you ever saw? We were in Berlin. I said, okay, this one in Berlin. So I trust him more than me. I can't get the mosquito.
I saw that.
No. So that is probably, let's say, professionally, that's the biggest one. Because I really need to put another goal now. Because once you get there, I don't know, I'll put something else. But I also want to mention for the people, the Web3 Conf in India has been probably, from the people perspective, probably the best one, because it's a small conference. But like the people treat me there like really as a rock star. Like I'm not famous, but people there like they stop me, they want to take a selfies. They make themselves in line like to take a selfie with me. So. I'm not famous. I'm not famous.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not famous, but I feel like this when I go to it. This also, I went back this year. So also great shout out to the organizers. And this makes this feel special because, getting likes, we know it's cool. But like having people like meeting in person, say like, Francesco, you helped me with learning blockchain. Maybe, I don't know, I liked this video of you. It's something else. It's something that it's not replaceable by any number of likes on any number of retweets or sharing or subscribers, because it's about like a person telling you that like, hey Francesco, like I started blockchain because of you. I learned Docker because of you. So, and this is super hard for me to understand, because sometimes when you do this, like we do this, for example, we did this podcast video, we don't know the impact. Like, it's not like having a presentation and people claps at the end, or
No, of
they, I
course.
don't know, they make a standing ovation. We are doing this. We are sharing about our lives. We are sharing about our ideas, our tips. But maybe something that we said, I don't know, they made click something to someone. Maybe they had a bad day, or maybe, I don't know, they get these bad jokes, and they make their lives better. So this is why I put also this in another category. But there are really, I want to say that I usually the conferences I go, usually apart some exceptions, something, I think that that's the only exception. They are always very good. The reason is that I say my no's. This year, I think I said no to at least 5 or 6 conferences. So it's like they invite me and I say no for reasons.
Okay,
For
5 or
reasons.
6.
For reasons. So because I said like 12 yes.
Of course.
So, but like, this is already filtered. Like, I don't have a place for everyone. I remember one conference, they invited me, let's say, but they said, no, I'm sorry, but I'm already booked for May 2023. I said, okay, so I invite you for May 2024 now. So I have already a conference booked for May 2024
Oh my God.
and June 2024. Okay. So I've already 2-3 conferences booked. And I don't know, Stefano, it has been a really roller coaster of emotions, travels, time zones, issues, jet lag, and all that stuff. Bad coffees abroad and all that.
Oh my
stories,
God.
so.
Coffees abroad. That can be an episode. So next episode, ChatGDG coffees at conferences.
The fun fact is that, okay, so in Italy there is this stereotype that coffee abroad is horrible. Sometimes it's true, but you don't know. So when you go to a place, for example, in Croatia, they have an amazing coffee. It's very close to Italy, for example. In Poland, it depends. They have some good and some not.
If you're lucky.
So yeah, exactly. So you have to worry. But jokes aside, it's very good to go abroad, understand the culture. I think it's very important. If you have the chance, I would absolutely recommend to do this for a period of life. It doesn't have to be like a 40 years of traveling, of course, because that will be too much. But I think I'm happy that some people are following me on social media. It's good, but I'm really here to play the long-term game. I want to be here around for other 30, 40 years. So, and at the end, I'll do like, let's say, we can say like, okay, this was good, this was not. So I'm planning really the game as long-term as possible. So this is why I'm traveling now, that I'm still youngish, not young, but youngish. Because I hope that this will have an impact in the future. So we will see. We will see if I'm right or not. But I mean, we have like different ideas. So we go on priorities. So I prefer to travel now and focus, maybe do less videos on YouTube, less tweets, but still like, I don't know. Like, this is a tangible example. Like, we're doing this podcast because you invited me. It was already, for me, it was already a yes. It was just a when, the when. So the problem was only the when, but this can really make a difference, like meeting in person. Usually, I notice this. When you meet someone in person, it's very, very rare that they ignore you. Like, if you meet someone in person and you ask like there's something, at least they will say no, usually. At least, because they met you in person. You shake their hand. Usually, if people are not super busy, usually you always get an answer, or you have like 2-3 times the chances to get at least an answer. Say, hey, I'm sorry, Stefano, I'm busy this period. Let's do this next month. But at least you get an answer from me. And this is a filter, because otherwise I would just start to do jumping on random calls, random stuff, and I have limited time, and I want to use it also to create content and do other stuff, my own stuff, sleep and eat and exercise, of course. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And also, I'm totally with you. We should be there for the long run. 1 and 2, we should be doing what makes sense for us in this moment in our life, right? So because in this moment you are still young, you are not 65, which is still young-ish, but a little bit younger. So you should take advantage of that. You should take advantage of your energy and all of that and travel the world. Maybe in 5 years you will get a little bit more, I don't know, tired and whatnot, and you might want to focus more on YouTube and stuff. That makes sense. That is a perfect valid arc of your life and of your career.
as I said, I was a coach. I still want to think that I am a coach, like inside in my DNA. When I see like someone doing a great exercise, usually I reply on Twitter and social media. But I want to believe that like working hard usually gives a result. So you will not be guaranteed that you will have better results or will be more successful. What you are doing is that you are dramatically increasing the chances, because
Yeah, exactly.
I can get sick tomorrow, but still, like if you work hard, if you meet many people, I want to say something. Now I work at daily.dev. The person who offered me this job, it was one of the 100 people I interviewed. So out of 100 people, one offered me a job, and that's enough, like for for having like a job. So this is not random. I still remember also we had like that person, that the CEO had like also connection issues. I said, okay, let's record it tomorrow. So I try to be as patient as possible. But like if you do this with everyone, like with connecting with everyone, you will get a lot of more luck in your life. I want to believe this. I'm not believing in luck. I only believe in bad luck, but not in the good luck.
Well, yeah, this as you said, it's just to increase your chances, because at the end of the day, it's a game of chances, right? It's someone that should be seeing something in you, you know what I mean? And the most people can, have an interaction with you, means that these chances are much, much higher. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh wow, we are already at 1 hour mark, which is insane. I thought that we were start talking like 5 minutes ago.
There was a time when I was so shy, Stefano. You are getting the worst out of me. Like
No,
the
I'm
super,
getting
chatting
great.
Francesco you are getting.
Yeah, chatting Francesco is great, Francesco, because of course, unfortunately, we need to end here. But like for many of the guests that they came so far, is so much to talk about that for sure I will invite you over probably at some point next year, so you can tell us more about your new conferences and travels and tutorials and all the good stuff that you do. And we also are gonna double check. You're at 25% now. We'll also double check like at what point you would be, you would reach at that point.
So now I have to go to conferences, so I have something to say next year, Stefano. So I'm doing this just for you. So I want to do this
for
so
this podcast.
exactly. So I want to this next episode to be really a crushing episode. So now I'm going to work every day, so I'll come prepared and say, okay, nice. I went to so many conferences. I did a lot of followers, so I will share my goals. I hope so, Stefano. I hope I'll not disappoint you.
Appreciate that. I mean, quit your job, just focus on the next episode. No, okay, no, don't do that. Yeah, okay. So for sure, I will be having you again next year. For the time being, thank you so very much. It was great talk, great chat, very friendly, very, very open. How we like doing things here. So thank you.
Exactly, because it's easier because we are both Italians, so we are speaking in English, but it's easier. It's easier, to be honest, Stefano.
Yeah, we have this, we are on the same wavelength, definitely. Yeah. So, Francesco, thank you so very much. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. Yeah, and we'll be seeing each other very, very soon, maybe at one of the conferences.
Sure. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Stefano.
Cheers.